Welcome to Money Talks, a weekly feature on FM 93.5 The Berg and WMEG AM 740. Today we will talk just a little bit about money, maybe some of the things you can do with it, how it can impact your life, some ideas on financial planning and investing, and getting the most out of the money you hope to have, already have, or want to pass down. So sit back, relax, listen, and maybe take some notes, as you may have some questions by the time we're done with this edition of Money Talks. Good morning, Dan Joss. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Money Talks, another exciting edition of Money Talks, because we're going to talk about all sorts of great stuff today that's riveting and engaging and everybody wants to talk about. We're going to talk about
taxes.
Taxes.
I'm excited about taxes.
You're well, taxes could be a very exciting thing because they can excite you when you get the bill, or they can excite you when you get a refund. So I guess taxes are exciting, aren't they?
At times, they're exciting.
All right. So, did they change the tax laws this year? Were there any changes?
No, they didn't change, but they did change the tax laws last year.
Last year?
And so this year was the first year that people did taxes under the new tax law.
Okay.
And so if they filed their taxes in April, some are going to be filing in October, they're going to see the implication of those changes in their tax return for the first time.
Okay. Now, when they change the tax laws, it's not the same way they do like a speed limit where they put a sign up that says speed limit has changed, be aware. They just change the laws and hope you pay attention.
That's usually how it works. Some people have advance notice of the changes, but really once the law is changed is when you can act on it, because it's hard to prepare for something that may not actually happen.
Okay.
So the laws were changed, took place last January. People filed their returns this year under last year's new law, and they're seeing what's happened. The current tax code has 70,000 pages of law, and the average filer, if they do it themselves, they just put the little program online. Some people still do it manually,
right,
and assume that they're not making mistakes.
Okay.
So it's a toughie. There are professional tax preparers that go to classes and see what the latest laws were and how they impact things, and so they're ready to help their clients prepare their tax returns accurately.
Accurately, okay.
That's always a goal.
Yep.
But given the amount of changes and given the amount of pages in the code, it's not always an easy thing to do.
No, I wouldn't think it's an easy thing to do. 70,000 pages. That's a couple of novels, isn't it?
It is.
And not as exciting as most novels.
And it's frustrating. You could overpay and not know that you've made an error. You could underpay, and I'm sure you may get audited, and you'd be in trouble for that. So I advise my clients to pay the tax, pay only what is due. Don't pay more. Avoiding tax is good if you can delay it until retirement, like adding to an IRA. You can delay tax.
But that's a special kind of IRA.
Yep. Avoiding tax is a good thing, but evading tax is where it crosses the line to criminal activity. Okay,
so avoiding taxes is good. Evading taxes is bad.
Right. And you can think of that in sales tax. If I don't buy something, I've avoided sales tax. If I steal something, then I've stolen a property and evaded tax.
Okay, well, yeah, I suppose that's a good way to look at it. That would explain it then. Yeah.
But the latest changes I've noticed as an investment advisor and financial advisor is because the law is in place for 10 years and it may go back, taxes have been reduced for many, but that means they could also go back up in the future. And so we have a period of time here where we can do some things. We could do a Roth conversion, so we would be paying tax now on the amount of IRA that we're converting, but because it's a lower tax for many, then that's a good thing, because if the tax rate goes back to where they were, then if we were to withdraw from our IRA a decade from now, it may be a higher tax. So a Roth conversion now may be beneficial.
Okay.
So that's one tactic I've seen that people are starting to use now because of the tax law change last year.
Okay.
Another one is the standard deduction for married filing jointly is now $24,000, and so some people that are generous with their money and give a lot are starting to lump their charitable contributions into every other year so that they can benefit by using the higher standard deduction in those years that they don't give. So it's a complicated piece, but for generous people, there's a way to continue to give but save taxes, given the new tax law change.
Okay. All right. Avoid the tax without evading it.
That's right.
Okay. That's good.
And it's always a recommendation I give people is to use the services of a professional tax preparer.
But you're not a professional tax preparer.
No.
No. But you're encouraging people to do that.
That's right.
This is one of those interesting things about Dan Joss.
In fact, one of my clients I was speaking with earlier this year, they said, we finally took your advice and hired a tax preparer, and they discovered 2 errors on our returns the last couple of years. And so they fixed those, refiled properly, and saved us some money.
Well, that's good.
Great, but if you'd taken my advice 2 years ago, those wouldn't have been errors.
Right. There you go. You could have called them that. That's fascinating. Why is it that a guy who isn't in the business of doing tax preparation is encouraging people to hire a professional tax preparer when you don't do that?
Well, like when we started, taxes can be exciting, and they are exciting for tax preparers because they love to do that. And so I even let my tax preparer do my taxes because I don't love doing taxes. But
Okay.
I like the work that they do, and I'm gladly going to hire them for their services.
Okay. And I guess it all goes to your mindset and of the money and how to live in peace of mind and how to have that peace of mind with your money.
It is.
There's what matters.
There's coordination that I do with tax preparers to save my clients money, but I don't actually want to do the tax preparing.
Okay. Well, that's good. And even though it's not April, we should start thinking about this now.
Sure. It's best to plan before you do something that has a tax consequence so that you know what the tax consequence is.
Okay. All right. Well, good.
That's why I like to plan.
Very good. Very good. Well, that's why you're like a financial planner.
That's right.
Yeah. And consultant and all those initials behind your name. All right. Well, Dan Joss, this has been very enlightening and somewhat exciting to talk about taxes, even though you don't prepare taxes.
That's right.
But it's all part of that package, that whole big picture that you encourage your clients and help your clients to look at when it deals with money and financial planning and living what matters.
It is.
All right. Well, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how should they do that?
757-903-2127.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Dan Joss. You got a website?
I do. jossfinancial.com.
Excellent. You have a great day.
Thank you.
Money Talks is a weekly program presented for the listener's benefit and entertainment. It is provided at no cost to the listener, and the ideas, opinions, and comments are not to be construed as legal advice, tax advice, investment advice, or other advice specific to the listener. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of a licensed professional or other qualified party when dealing with financial, legal, tax, medical, investment, insurance, taxidermy, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, real estate, chiropractic, veterinary, oral hygiene, hot air ballooning, etc. We have given you some food for thought. Now, call a licensed professional such as Dan Joss at 757-903-2127. Thanks for listening, and remember, failing to plan is planning to fail.